Hey, I'm Jim Frias, content creator of personal finance website IQ Sense. I want to make saving and investing more digestible, but overall, I want to improve your personal finance IQ over a cup of coffee. So if you haven't already, brew yourself a nice cup of coffee and I'll go ahead and jump right into it. Hi. So today I'm going to discuss why all social media influencers should consider an employer-sponsored plan like a SEP or SIMPLE IRA if they haven't already. In fact, all small businesses of all types should consider some type of saving plan that allows them to invest for retirement. So what exactly is an employer-sponsored plan? That's simple. Think of benefits your employer may have offered you in the past, in addition to your regular salary. The most common benefit is known as a 401k plan or something similar to that. Some older folks may refer to it as a pension plan, but the word employer sponsor is just to describe a benefit that an employer offers you. Now, you may be thinking, how does this apply to me as a social media influencer or a small business person? Saving for the future, like retirement, is something we've perhaps thought about. Let me share industry research with you that basically illustrates 50% of small businesses offer no retirement plan to their employees, and more of a third of those small business owners have no retirement savings of their own. Now, this might be clouded by the perception of managing a business. As a owner or social media influencer, your priorities are building a brand, managing expenses, executing your business strategy plan, and overall building a business that generates more revenue. So these priorities, or retirement as an example, become secondary. The irony of all that is saving for retirement is something that we acknowledge and we must do. We might think it's too complicated, too expensive to offer an employer-sponsored plan to ourselves or even our employees in that matter. But the reality is it's much easier than we think, and why not invest for our future? So you might ask, how do you select a plan, or what is ideal for me? So I'll discuss a SEP versus a simple IRA and kind of speak to the characteristics and who might be a better fit for it. So these are things to consider. SEP IRAs are typically for self-employed individuals or family-run businesses. What that means is, let's say you as a social media influencer have your own production company, and it's you and your three best friends, and they're pretty much practically family. Then in that case, a SEP IRA is something to consider. Or you each divvy up the money in the sense of, this is your portion, this is my portion, and you each take care of it on your own taxes. You can each implement your own SEP IRA as well. Now, the beauty of a SEP IRA, the contribution limits are very similar to a 401k. The only thing with the 401k allows you to have two types of contributions. Salary deductions and then an employer match. With the SEP IRA, it's simply employer contributions. So think of it like a profit sharing plan. Now, they do have very similar contribution limits like a 401k. So you can put the lesser of the two options within your SEP IRA, which is either 25% of compensation or up the maximum of $58,000 for 2021. So for example, let's just say you make $100,000 or you pay yourself $100,000. If you want to do the maximum, it'd be 25%. 25% of that would be $25,000 that you can put towards retirement. Now, you would have to put that away as well, because it is a pro rata distribution to each of your employees. So if it's 25%, let's just say all of you make $100,000. That's basically $75,000 from the business that goes into your retirement plans, 25 into each of your SEP IRA plans. Now there is a cap to that, and in order to put the highest amount of $58,000, you do have to have the compensation in order to max out your SEP IRA. And right now, roughly, you're looking at $225,000 in compensation in order to max out your SEP IRA contribution for 2021. So the beauty of a SEP IRA is it offers you higher contributions, low cost, and minimal administration. Super easy. And another thing is you can contribute your own individual IRA contributions into your SEP IRA. So in addition to your employer contribution, your $6,000 that you're allowed to do for 2021, you can put it in there, and the catch up is an additional $1,000. So up to $7,000 as an individual contribution is allowed within a SEP IRA. So you don't have to have two different accounts. Now, if you like, of course, you can. You know, some financial professionals describe the SEP IRA as just a cheap profit sharing plan. Okay, so let's say you don't want to be so generous and you don't run a family-run business, and you have employees and you still want to offer something to them. There are other options, and that is a simple IRA. Simple IRA is great. If you don't have employees, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to put a SEP IRA, but the beauty about a simple IRA when you do have employees is in order to receive the employer contribution, they have to put money, so you got to pay to play basically. Now, what a simple IRA is two things. It allows for salary deferrals, meaning they take from their paycheck, or they withhold from their paycheck and put it into a simple IRA, and then the employer is on the hook for a match. You have three different types of match. The most common match is a dollar for dollar up to 3% of compensation. So an example again, what does that mean? Let's just say you pay your employee $50,000 and they put away the maximum allowed for salary, which I believe is roughly $13,500, and if you're 50 and older, an additional $3,000. So they're basically able to put a higher dollar amount, but within percentage on what the employer has to put aside, it's only up to 3% of compensation. So regardless if they max out on a $50,000 salary, you would only be on the hook for about $1,500 roughly that you would have to put. And think of it like this. It is a business deduction, you putting a salary, an employer contribution into their simple IRAs. So there is a bit of a tax incentive there. Secondly, it works the other way as well. If they don't contribute to their simple IRAs, well, you don't have to give them anything. Now, you as the owner, employer, or participant of the simple IRA plan, well, you can put the $13,500 away and you can match yourself up to 3%, whatever your compensation is for that year. If it's $100,000, well, you get to give yourself an additional $3,000 based off the 3%. Now, things to consider about a simple IRA. The match is, if you have a simple IRA, the match is mandatory each year. So on lean years, there are options, but think of it like this. Right now, it's about investing for the future, thinking of retirement, implementing an employer-sponsored plan that is cost-effective, easy to run, no red tapes like 401ks that have annual disclosures, involve third parties or professional money managers, or I shouldn't say professional money managers, because using a mutual fund as a professional money manager. professional administrators to handle the day-to-day operations, making sure all the checks and balances are for a 401k that is required. SEP and a simple, easy to do. Our SEP IRA are typically for self-employed individuals or family-run businesses. Now, as a social media influencer, you may have your own production company and you and 3 friends are splitting your overall revenue, and typically you can each create your own SEP IRA. But let's just say you're the genius, you wear all the hats, and you're running everything and you're paying them a salary, but they're really good friends or they're like family to you, and you want to give them the benefit just like you want to benefit from a retirement plan. So in that case, a SEP IRA would make sense. Now, a SEP IRA, the beauty of this is it's very similar to 401k contributions. The only difference is think of it as a profit sharing plan, because a 401k allows 2 types of contributions. One, from the employee, what they put aside, and second, an employer match, an employer contribution. In a 401k, an employer establishes how much they will match accordingly. So there you have it. I've kind of gone through some of the characteristics, advantages of having either a SEP or a simple. Hopefully you consider this as a viable retirement plan solution if you're looking or considering to save for retirement, which again, we should all be saving for the future, such as retirement. It's just a bucket. If you have any questions, please feel free, write a comment, subscribe. I am going to be putting out more periodically different types of videos that ultimately increase your personal finance IQ and making it digestible, easy to invest, and consider different products for your financial path towards, hopefully, financial freedom. So, till next time, I'm going to finish up my cup of coffee, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.